Good evening. Will you please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the Board of Trustees for the School Town of Speedway meeting for October 10th, 2023. Tonight we're operating from a 14-item agenda, the first of which is to approve the minutes of our previous meeting on October 4th, 2023.
I move we approve the minutes from the October 4th, 2023 meeting.
I second.
Is there any discussion? There is none. Having the motion made and seconded, all in favor of approving the minutes, please indicate by raising your hand. And no opposed. And that passes 3-0. We'll sign those. I'll split the difference here. Maybe. Great. The second item on our agenda is to ratify the collective bargaining agreement for 23 through 25.
Thank you. This summary that I'm about to give gives you a clear oversight of the key points to the agreement. The contract duration of the contract will be over 2 school years. It'll be 2024, 2025 school year, suggesting the multi-year agreement. For stability, we are going to continue to address the salary compression. The agreement acknowledges the issue of salary compression among teachers, where experienced teachers may not have been adequately compensated over time. To address this two-step approach is what we're using here in the master teacher contract. The lowest salary increase for the teachers in the district for each year will be specified. And part 2, all differentiated base salary increases above the minimum salary increase will be handled through a board resolution, which is the next agenda item in the same meeting here. The approach is designed to comply with Indiana law to ensure the teachers receive fair and appropriate salary adjustments. And the second part of this ratification of the agreement through the Speedway Classroom Teachers Association is adding an assistant band director and the ECA, which is a tentative of $2,500 specified salary increase in that ECA Appendix A portion. So my recommendation is to approve this ratification of the 23 to 25 teacher contract. I would like to, before I hand it over to you for any questions or the public comments, I'd like to thank Jeff Mahan and his committee for all the work they do. This is behind the scenes. This is after hours, and it took weeks to get to the point of where we all felt comfortable under the items that we had to work with. This has been a process over the last 4 years to get to this point. So again, I'm very pleased, and I know that was our purpose, and that was our goal many years ago to do this. So this is just the next step. And again, I just like to thank him and our teams for working so well and within our budget to have a reasonable raise for over the next 2 years.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, sure. I move to ratify the collective bargaining agreement for 2023 through 2025.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor of ratifying the collective bargaining agreement for 2023 through 2025 indicate by raising your hand. And that passes 3-0.
And at this time, if I can have Mr. Mann come up and he'll sign. And the date is the 10th. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Signature.
Okay. Well, that's
you.
great news. So, and then, as Dr. Tremblay has indicated, in conjunction with that item, the next item on the agenda is to approve the resolution for supplemental payment.
Thank you. And the recommendation from me is to approve the resolution for the supplemental payment that is enclosed.
It's the board's pleasure.
I move we approve the resolution to handle the supplemental payment for teacher salaries.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Having been moved and seconded, all in favor of approving this resolution for supplemental payment indicate by raising our hands. And there are no opposition again. That passes 3-0. What are all of these?
That's later.
Okay.
You're good for now.
Okay. The fourth item on our agenda is to approve the health insurance.
I'm very happy to announce we have an agreement with Anthem for the second year. 3 years ago, we were with United Healthcare, and the prices and the premiums continue to increase. We switched to Anthem last year. And this year, we knew that we were walking in as a group that we didn't really know where the second year was going to land. But I'm proud to say that we had a pretty good year. And a 5% increase is what will be on our health insurance for this year. So my recommendation will be to approve the health insurance for the 24 year. And just for some clarification on tell you what that looks like for some people. I usually read all the entire list, but right now I'll just do some highlights of where we'll be. So everything will stay the same. There'll be no increase on dental or vision, but that is wrapped up all in the Anthem 5%. So the corporation pays 2.5%, the teachers pay the other 2.5%. So for the teachers, the single gold plan, which deductibles and everything will remain the same, which I'm very proud for that. We didn't have to increase the maximum like a lot of other school corporations had to do. But that golden plan is worth $11,229.36. And after everything's said and done, over 24 pays, that'll be an increase for the teacher for $10.81. For the Gold Plan Plus One, that's a package deal of $26,925.84, and that'll be an increase for those individuals, $25.83 per pay. For the Family Gold Plan, and that's our biggest one, and that's the largest, at $31,000 and $31,049.64. That's how much the total package costs. That will be an increase of $29.52 per teacher. So that's where we're at for the family gold plans all the way down to the individual plans. For the non-teachers, it'll be an increase for the single gold plan of $4.32. And for the Gold Plan Plus One will be $10.33, and for the family plan, it'll be $11.80. So you can see the summaries that as we break it down with a 5% increase, it's minimal. We've been working before with 12 to 16% increases. So when I hear single digits, I'm happy. When we can work that down under 6, I'm extremely happy. And 5% increase overall is something that I think we should all be jumping up and down for. So my recommendation is approve the health insurance as presented.
Great. I move to approve the health insurance plan as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? I think I'd just like to say, thank you for all the work done on that. I think sometimes, all that people see is that there is an increase, and, without an actual understanding of what that initial amount of increase would have been without all of the work that got it to the place that it ends up at. So I'm sure there's so there should be many grateful people. I know that we're proud of that. So then call for vote. All in favor of approving the health insurance as outlined by Dr. Tremblay indicate, please. And again, no one is against it, so 3-0. The fifth item is to approve property damage and professional liability insurance coverage.
The recommendation will be to approve the increase for property damage and liability insurance, and I'm not jumping up and down over this one. But Speedway schools continue to have the best rating. That's good, at an A, excellent. This term will be from October 23 to 24. The coverage continues to be a blanket building and business personal property, and they put this in their earthquake, so knock on wood, we don't have earthquake. We have enhancements, replace cost coverage, school extension, Ultra Plus endorsement, data compromise, coverage earthquake again, coverage equipment breakdown, additional coverage property, lighting, fencing, scoreboards, bleachers, playgrounds, equipment, concession stands, press boxes, dugouts, the list goes on, but we have to have liability insurance over everything we have on our property. The deductible is $10,000, so it's a little different than people sitting at home. Sometimes their deductible, so if it hits that, then we pay that and then some. It is what it is. Over my 5 years here, we've had some over and some right at, and you have to make decisions. Do you want your increase to go up or down or just pay it out? The one change that I made in our plan this last year, and the board asked me to take a look at it, and I did, was our data compromise, and we increased that for our size up to $250,000, which is right in line with what we are. But there is a 14.6% increase. And it's due to our increasing values overall of $96,312,611 to $112 million for our assessed values. And we went from basically $96 million to $112 million, and that increase alone was 17%. So we did work it down. They wanted us over that. We worked it down to 15, and I said, well, we're not going to come at 15. It has to be under 15, so they did what I asked them to do. They came in at 14.6. So that's where we're at on the liability insurance. And our payrolls have increased. Everything has increased. We did not have a big hit last year on the increase. So now's the year to probably take this a little bit. So we have to have liability insurance. So my recommendation, and we're very happy Jason Rich with his group that have been working with us since Carter Matthews back with Mr. Wagner was the same company we've used. So they've been very loyal to us, and they're always, if I call, they answer within a few minutes. So they'll pick up the phone, call me back. So very happy with them. So my recommendation is approve property damage and liability insurance.
I'd like to move that we approve the property damage and liability insurance coverage as proposed.
I second.
Do we have any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the property damage and professional liability insurance coverage indicate by raising your hand. There, again, is no one opposed, so that passes 3-0. Now we're to the sixth item, which is the presentation of federal report cards.
Mr. Disney, before you do, if Mr. Mann would like to go to work on his lesson plans, you're welcome to stay, but.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
we're just-
Thank you for your work on that.
Thank you for everything.
Thanks, appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.
Board, in your packet are copies of the Federal Accountability Report Card that we recently received for the 2022-2023 school year for each of our 6 schools here in Speedway. The Federal Accountability Report Card is very complicated. And it's a very complicated system of accountability that rates schools based on several indicators. On our screen right now is the high school's Federal Accountability Report Card. And the indicators that are the same for elementary and junior high schools, but slightly different for the high school level. If you look at the high school Federal Accountability indicators, they include academic achievement in English and language arts, academic achievement in math, graduation rate, strength of diploma, progress in achieving English proficiency, and addressing chronic absenteeism. Like I said, it is complicated. Each of these categories are also divided into subgroups if there's enough students to make up a subgroup in such things as race, ethnicity, special education, and socioeconomic status. Every category is rated as either a does not meet expectations, approaching expectations, meets expectations, or exceeds expectations. And then a final overall rating is then determined. I'm happy to report tonight that Speedway High School received a meets expectation rating 48.6% of high schools in Indiana were rated as meet expectations, and only 2.2% where it exceeds expectations. If you look at the next, which is the junior high, and the junior high and the elementary have the same indicators. And those, there's a different category in this. The categories for our elementary and our junior high include English language arts achievement, math achievement, English language arts academic progress, math academic progress, English language arts closing achievement gaps, math closing achievement gaps, progress in achieving English language proficiency, and addressing chronic absenteeism. And again, if either one of these categories have subgroups, we get a rating for subgroups. And those, again, ratings are do not meet expectations, approaching, meets, and exceeds expectations. So if you look at each one of our elementary schools, you saw the junior high up there, and you can, if Dr. Trebler goes through the our elementary schools, you'll see that I'm pleased to report to you that Speedway Junior High School, Allison Elementary, Fisher Elementary, and Wheeler Elementary all received meets expectation rating. And only 34% of elementary schools in Indiana received a meets expectation rating, and even less than that, 29% of the middle junior high school received a meets expectation rating. So very proud of that. Finally, I'm pleased to report that Newby Elementary received an overall rating of exceeds expectation and was one of only 3% of all elementary schools in Indiana to receive this distinction of exceeds expectations. So pleased to announce that all of our schools are either meets expectations and with Newby getting an exceeds expectations. And I'll answer any questions that you may have at this time of our federal accountability report cards.
What causes the no rating? Not enough student, I mean, what is?
Couple things. In one, like if you see one at the high school of a no rating, it means that it was in, let me get this right, it was in, there wasn't because they stopped doing the I-Learn, and they used to have to do I-Learn, there wasn't a grade to compare it to. So you can't have any academic progress because they called off, they didn't allow us to use I-Learn scores in 2021 and 21-22.
During our school improvement plans, when they talk, they'll be more in depth of all this, so, which is next agenda item. If you guys want to get to that, then talk to the principals.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Then let's move on to, thank you, Mr. Disney. Let's move on to item 7, which is the presentation of school improvement plans.
Tonight we have all of our principals here, and Ms. Snap is going to give us a presentation on school. So to set her up and to set all these people up, each year you have to write school improvement plans about what you want to try to accomplish this school year. They're very prescriptive in what you have to do. And each year our principals, along with their staff, writes their school improvement plans. Tonight they're going to present like a one-page summary that you have in your packet, and she is going to present an overall view of what's going on in our elementary schools.
Thank you, Mr. Disney. Thank you, Dr. Trebley and School Board for having us here tonight. I appreciate that. I'm here to represent all the elementary principals, talking about our school improvement plans. I want you to know how much we appreciate your leadership and just the support that you give to our students, our staff, and our families here in Speedway. your guidance and leadership is really the foundation of what helps us to be successful. So thank you very much for that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Disney and Mrs. McIntosh for the work that they've done over the past several years to really help us become more systemic in our approach to instruction with our pacing guides, targeted professional development, and resources to meet the needs of our staff and students. So while the 4 elementary schools are different in so many ways, when you look at demographics, population, and the unique personalities that make up the staff, we really do share a common focus for our students, which is basically to prepare them to be successful citizens. And then our charge is to do this by helping them to grow as learners in language arts and math. And that's really how our school improvement goals fit in and reflect that mission. So like I said, we're different in many ways, but we have been able to come together basically through your leadership, and it's helping us to become stronger instructional leaders. It's helping our instructional coaches be able to target needed areas of growth, and it's helped our teachers to really hone their instructional practice, thus helping our students. So some of the strategies that are outlined in our school improvement plans that we use to support student learning in math that are common amongst us are targeted small group instruction. So really honing in on what those skills are that the kids need, those next steps in the small group. Frequent checks for understanding so that we can inform our instruction. Either we're to put into different groupings or to change the skill that the kids need. And intentional use of the critical standards, which are the standards that are prioritized through the state in our academic standards. And then also in math, explaining and justifying our answers, having kids do that through written response or math discourse. And then in language arts, some of the strategies that we are using, taken from what we're learning about science of reading, is really developing an intervention process that goes the gamut from phonological awareness all the way up through comprehension in our intervention groups, and really targeting what the kids need based on data. Targeted skills for small group instruction and reading, so really intentional, specific reading skill instruction based on what students need. And then implementing strategies that we've learned through our professional and developed through Christina Specken. So taking that 6+1 traits rubric to help with instruction in writing. Reading response using race or yes ma'am, which is a specific strategy that we learned through them, and then small group, again, instruction and reading. So you might hear small group instruction a lot. We really have learned how important that piece is, and then really even narrowing it down to individualized instruction, because we've got to meet kids where they are. And our small class sizes and the support that we have in the classroom enable us to do that pretty well. So we're super grateful. I wanted to just to give a plug for what you allowed us to do with Orton Gillingham several years ago, and now the morphology training that we've had. I can't thank you enough for that. It's helped us so much with teachers' understanding of reading and how to actually help kids learn to be better readers. And we're just now getting into the morphology instruction piece, because we went through, the teachers in 3rd through 6th grade went through the training this fall, which we're super grateful for, and we're excited to see how that's going to impact our learners overall, and especially our struggling learners at the upper grades. Can I answer any questions for you?
I'll say something in the dead space time. The referendum allows all that to happen. And that's absolutely no joke. So thank you, community. Thank you, parents. Thank you for people in this community that supports the referendum. Thank you, school board, for allowing us to do the referendum, because the small group instruction, the small class sizes would not be possible without that. So thank you for your leadership and whatnot. But because that's not going to, the results wouldn't happen without that either. So thank you guys for all the hard work you guys put in the elementary side, and I'll say thank you to the rest of you later here. So don't think I'm going to.
Well, I think the lack of commentary is a testament to what they do day in and day out too, right? That you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. So.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Mr. Roseboro, junior high school.
I'd just like to, sorry, I apologize for my voice first. I just came from a 4-year-old soccer game. I think I yelled too much. Actually, it's really a cold, but I do want to thank you guys for your support, and anything we try to do and to make us better, we do appreciate you. I also want to congratulate Newbie Elementary. Awesome job for exceeds expectations, so great job. I'm going to start off with the school improvement plan, thanking you guys first for the improvement that you gave my school, our school, Fisher included, and that is our new entryway. It's a physical thing, but it's really awesome. And I don't know if I'm sure you've had a chance to see it, but it does make us much more secure. I did lose a bathroom in the deal and a safe, but it's okay. You have, everything in my office is new now, so it's really nice. So it just makes our entry much more safe for the kids and for our staff. So thank you for that part of the school improvement plan. I'm going to go through this a little bit different. I'd like to start off with our description of our school community and just point out a couple things that changed in our demographics that kind of jumped out at me, and that is our English learners jumped up from 7.6%, or jumped up 7.6 percentage points up to 22.4. Almost one of every four of our students are English as a second language. So that provides some challenges for our staff. And also our free and reduced lunch jumped up to 60.4%, which is an 8% increase, which is a pretty extensive increase. So I just want to point those out in the demographic part. As far as our summary of data, I do want to kind of brag on my teachers. As I tell them, none of the awards that we ever get are because of me. I just happen to steer the ship. They do all the hard work, but we were Marion County champs again in our English language arts by 5.3% over the second place in our iLearn scores. In math, we were first by 3.2 percentage points over the next closest school corporation. In passing both, we were also Marion County champs by 5.7%. So even though sometimes the numbers are not quite as high as the percentage we like to see, when we compare it to the people around us, my teachers are doing a great job. So I'd like to congratulate them on that. Getting into our goals haven't changed much. We have 3 goals. We do want to have all students show growth in math comprehension. I've targeted a few things that we do, and I'll elaborate on those just briefly. We are still targeting our lower achieving 7th graders, and we kind of split them into an accelerate math or a pre-algebra during the second semester to try to target them. We also offer inclusion classes. We're pushing in with our aid or our special ed or EL teachers to help with, and we put them all in certain classes or periods of the day so we can push in and help them. And I kind of starred number 7 that we added a section of basic skills math for our lower performing EL kids, and that's taught by our EL teacher, Mrs. Mashaki. So we kind of moved her schedule around a little bit to help with the basic skills in our math comprehension. Then if you move to goal 2, excuse me, show growth in reading comprehension, we still are using the accelerated reader program. Just want to point that out. We also added a section of basic skills language arts class for our Spanish speaking students, and that is taught by our Spanish teacher. Again, we were able to move her schedule around a little bit, and that's Mrs. Burke. So hopefully those additions of those 2 will help in those areas. They're kind of small changes, but a little change in our improvement plan. And then goal 3, that's still a battle from COVID. I don't know, we're just battling the attendance rate. We were at 94.7%, which is a little lower than what we wanted to be at 97. We continue to work on that with contacting home after 5 unexcused absences, and then again, if we get to the 10th, then we do the file with the prosecutor's office. At that point, it's kind of out of our hands. I just want to sum up a few of the kind of adjustments that we've made, and then just some of the new things that have gone on that are not necessarily in the plan at the junior high. We just completed some data meetings with both grade levels, and that goes right along with the plan because we're, again, targeting those kids. We get a lot of move-ins. We give them about 9 weeks for the teachers to get to know them, and then we just got done with the data meetings trying to see if there's some kids that needed schedule changes, which I just made 2 more today, to try to get help for some of those students that maybe slipped through the cracks a little bit. As I mentioned, we added in our language arts, we added the basic skills language arts, Spanish-speaking students to help those students. And we are pushing in with the ELA classes also. In math, I just got done with the math department meeting, taking a look at some things that we can do, looking at the data, some areas that maybe we can improve, and it was a very successful meeting. We just got done with those, finished them actually last week, and I shared some of the data Mr. Disney shared on some of the areas where we may need to shore up some things, so that was very successful. And to kind of finish up some new things besides our entryway at the junior high, we do have a new special ed teacher that's working out great. Mrs. Maple has come over. We have a new PE teacher, or athletic director, Mr. McCormick. That's working out great. And I just want to brag on a program we're starting up. It's a student athletic ambassador program. What it is, it's an to assist the athletic director, and it gives kids an opportunity to build character, to learn some leadership responsibilities. There's an application process, and what they will do is assist the athletic director at events by greeting the visiting teams, showing them to the locker rooms, getting the coaches water, maybe even filling the water coolers, help the officials take the water to them, just to build some responsibility for those kids. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to start. We just finished the process. I believe we have 15 students that qualified for that. So that's just kind of a new thing that's, hopefully you'll see. We're going to get them shirts. And actually I stole it from a couple of schools when I went around and was keeping the book for different basketball games. And it was really neat when an 8th grader would come up and say, "Sir, could I get you a water?" Or, do you need anything? You want some popcorn? Just make you feel at home. And so I talked to Mr. McCormick about that a little bit, and we're trying to set that program in motion. So that's a quick summary of the junior high, a lot of different parts and pieces, but again, thank you for the opportunity. Any questions, I guess? Anything?
Thank you.
Good?
Thank you.
All right. Cool.
Of course he did.
Mr. Claiborne, Speedway High School.
It's always tough to follow Mr. Roseborough. He's got a couple good jokes, a couple zingers to start everything off with. Yes, similar to the other two presenters, I first wanted to thank the board for the improvements we had made to our door one with secure entry last year. And now this summer, we've made improvements, given facelifts to our extracurricular entrances in the back of the school, as well as the cafeteria, which is still in the process of getting a full makeover and upgrade. And all of those have just been much needed, much relief for the eyes, and also been utilized already with our recent homecoming week. Miss Baker and Miss Owens were really excited to have all of our homecoming activities up on the TVs in the cafeteria, and to have those on during our homecoming dance to keep students informed and add a little more spirit to everything going on there. So thank you for all of that. That's been very helpful. Also wanted to say thank you. We were able to hire another E&L teacher, and the gentleman we got has given us some flexibility also, not only to get our E&L numbers in the classroom down, but also to get the numbers down. We have two very large classes right now, our freshman and our sophomore classes, and we were able to be flexible and get those classes down, the world history and U.S. history, and then also we had some flexibility to get our science numbers in those same grades down as well. So really with 1.5 hires to improve all of those areas, it will make a big difference for our students and our teachers. So thank you for all of that. On the athletics front, just wanted to say a couple of our seasons are winding down here. Boys soccer tomorrow night is hosting the first round of regionals. We have Madison coming in, so they just won their 3rd sectional in a row this past weekend at Bishop Chittard. Outstanding job by Coach Haviland and Coach Oath, and these seniors that, I think sophomore, junior, and senior year, they've won sectionals. That doesn't happen very often. It's fantastic.
In 5 years, conference champ.
Yeah, 5 in a row conference champs. Volleyball's doing great. Looking forward to their sectional as well. Our girls soccer team had a wonderful season. Ran into the #1 team in the state. Their sectional had 4 of the 5 teams in their sectional. 4 of the 5 were top 20 ranked teams. So it was a tough group there, but that does not take anything away from the year they had. Just fantastic. So I wanted to mention those highlights as well before getting into the official school improvement plan. And similar to what Mr. Roseborough said, we've gone last year, 18% of our students were identified as English language learners. That's already up over 21% just from last year to what we've enrolled this year. I did list there that we were named by U.S. News and World Report as the #1 public high school in Indiana for last year. Obviously very proud of that. Our math scores, #1 in Marion County and #10 in Indiana for all math subgroups. Another high point there. We just last month talked about our AP and the success we had in that this last year. And our goals really focus on those same things. Obviously, as a high school graduation rate is always key. We want to keep that above 96%. We were at 99% last year and hope to get at least that again. Goal 2, we want to have at least 65% of graduates pass at least one advanced placement exam that's scoring 3 or higher during their high school career. 52% of our graduation cohort from last year achieved that. And goal 3 is really SAT driven. We want 75% of our juniors to meet that college readiness benchmark on the evidence-based reading and writing, and 65% to do so on the math. I acknowledge that those are very lofty goals, and they do take into account our 21% E&L population, as well as our transiency. I think those are very high, but I do think that they are achievable.
Anything? Thanks so much.
Yep. I did want to mention just one more thing. The AP score report just came out for this year. They're using a new model, a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum model. And the 3 areas that they use as metrics, college culture, college credit, and college optimization. Speedway High School ranked as platinum, the very top level in all of those metrics. And then also what we were really excited about, the AP Access Award, which recognizes schools whose AP participation matches the demographics. And it just shows what we've been going for all along, and I think really makes Speedway unique, is that we believe that all students, no matter where they come from or what they look like, deserve the best curriculum. They deserve to be challenged, and they deserve to be supported to meet those challenges, and that is the AP Access Award. We don't know what all this calculates out to and how we compare against other schools with this stuff, but the fact that we were platinum and received the top ratings on all these, I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of and say just a couple words about.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
I think it's worth noting, it was platinum by a mile on some of those too. It wasn't close, so good job.
Thank you.
I think it's also worth saying while you guys are all here, and I think for the public, that it seems like, there are more awards to win at the high school. It is easier to look at what the high school did, but none of this would be possible if it wasn't starting truly in our kindergarten classes. And so if those elementary kids, we weren't seeing the types of things we're seeing with those elementary numbers that then funnel into our junior high, that then go to our high school. And so don't think that we don't recognize that, and certainly public, that needs to be super clear that this is from top to bottom an unbelievable school district. And so that is not to take anything from the high school, but it does seem like there are a lot of, there aren't AP type of things to be given at the junior high and elementary level, but if there were, you guys would be winning them, in the same way. And so we are just so proud of K through 12. Wow. This is a great night. And you guys are free to go.
Thank you.
Which makes it a better night, right?
I think they run you out of here.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, wow. The 8th item on our agenda is to adopt a resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operation fund on a recurring monthly basis beginning by January 31, 2024.
The budget is truly 12 months in a process and working manner. We talk about this moving into January, but when we start talking about finances and running the budget starting in January, then we have our budget meeting in July. We talk about these transfers leading up to this, but now it's time to act on those with resolutions. And my first recommendation is to recommend the resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operations fund, and that is a total amount of $1,602,000 in monthly installments of up to $133,500 from the education fund to the operations fund.
All right. Well, I move to adopt the resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operations fund on a recurring monthly basis beginning by January 31st, 2024.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Do we have a discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting this resolution indicate by raising your hand. And that passes 3-0. Following closely at its heels, a very similar action item, and that is to adopt a resolution to transfer amounts from the operations fund to the education fund before December 31, 2020. Is that 4?
3.
Or should that be 3?
It's 2023.
Should be 3.
No, this will start in the January 1st through December 31st. It
Okay.
gives her the
So
authority to do
that,
this.
okay.
Remember
All
our
next year.
Yeah, sorry. you
Yes,
got me.
okay.
I was
Nope,
written down.
nope, that's just, yep. Okay.
Our school
So-
year goes from there to there. So,
So-
so very good. And to be very clear on this, we talk about this and again in January and then again in July. And because of the state in 2000, not to give the whole history lesson, all the way back 2008 and 2009, 2010, they changed the formula and then again in 2018. So there's certain people that can only be paid in certain places, but we get the money in different places. So the fund has to be transferred. So that's
Okay.
the reason for this.
Okay, so
To be very clear.
let me say that one again then. We are going to discuss adopting the resolution to transfer amounts from the operation fund to the education fund before December 31, 2024.
And my recommendation is to adopt the resolution, again, to transfer amounts for the operation fund to the education fund from the period of time of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Okay.
It's all set.
And I will move that we approve the resolution to transfer amounts from operations fund to the educations fund on a semi-annual basis, starting in January 2024.
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor of this resolution indicate by raising your hand. That is 3-4, and there is no against, so 3-0 pass. Item 10.
And the final one is from the referendum that we are so grateful that passed, and it's moving the referendum money to the education to pay teachers in general. But the recommendation is to adopt the resolution and transfer amounts from the referendum fund to the education fund. Total amount of $517,700 in the semi-annual installments of up to $258,850 from the referendum fund to the education fund, to reimburse the education fund for expenses that are allocated to extracurricular employment for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Okay,
Got it.
so, all in favor, nope.
Motion.
So I move to adopt a resolution to transfer amounts from the referendum fund to the education fund before December 31st, 2024.
There you go.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on this one? So all in favor of adopting this resolution indicate by raising your hand. And that also passes 3-0. Should we sign these now? or-
Yeah, let's do
Yes.
it.
Okay, and so give us a second to sign all this stuff. Woo, okay, there we go.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the acknowledgement of $218,027.12 in grants received. Yeah, that's awesome. And then item 12 is the personnel report.
Personnel report for the month of October has several items on it. We have one resignation, that is Dan Masaryu, who's resigned as the boys' assistant golf coach at Speedway High School. Just want to mention here that Dan has helped us coach everything for several years and greatly appreciate his help with the athletic programs from football to basketball to the golf program. His help has been greatly appreciated. Employment, Jeff Mahan as the boys' head golf coach, Sam Aarons as a ninth grade baseball coach. We have 4 disability leaves that are being recommended this evening, and that is JoJo DeFur as an elementary teacher at Newby Elementary, Kylie Modisut, who is an art teacher at Speedway High School, Christy Clampett, a teacher at Allison, a second grade teacher at Allison Elementary School, and Carol Estrada, who's a secretary at Speedway High School. We're recommending long-term substitutes of Amy Delisle as a teacher at Newby Elementary in the 3rd grade. Patty Bach, we keep mentioning Patty's name. Patty Bach as an art teacher at Speedway High School. And then a temporary teaching contract for Jada Meyer, who will be teaching 2nd grade at Allison Elementary. I recommend that we approve the personnel report as presented.
I move to approve the personnel report as presented by Mr. Disney.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the personnel report as presented, indicate by raising your hand. And that again passes 3-0. All of our visitors have left. Do we have any other business? We do not. Then we will retire to sign claims.